Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. I hope you're all doing okay today and that you're ready for some more The House in Fata Morgana. Last time we finished The Maid's Tale and we paused just when some big text was showing up on the screen saying The House in Fata Morgana, the story behind the story. Which I have no idea what's that about, because I don't remember that from the original game, or the original version of the game, I should say. So I'm very curious to see if this is like something completely new, or if it's just that we might have unlocked something when we are like done with the game. I'm very confused, so I'm very curious to see what's this all about. But we ended up with Giselle being basically kidnapped by Morgana, and Michel has to find her and save her. He has to be the hero. So yeah. Bad ending? No, I don't think so, because bad endings are usually a lot more straightforward. You know when you have messed up. You either immediately dies or get like a short sort of end story thing. So I definitely don't think that this is a bad ending or anything. But I'm very curious to see what it is, because I have no clue if it's something new entirely or not. We'll see. So yeah, I think we should just jump right into the game. And also tell me if the sound is okay when we are in the game, because I think I still have the settings from my Bloodborne stream. I have not done anything to it, so tell me if it's unbearably loud or anything, and I will turn it down for you. But yeah, let's jump into the game. Gonna make sure I have sound too. Seems like it's quiet for now, so we'll see if I get my eardrums blasted out or not. Hey, Master. Hello? Is anyone in there? Master? Oh, good. Welcome back. What's gotten into you? Ah. I thought you had fallen asleep with your eyes open. I'm not accustomed to people needing my attention. Or, I suppose, talking face to face at all. This is my mansion. Giselle's right in front of me, smiling like she always did. Smiling for me. You're not hurt, Giselle? You have been alone for 10 years. But now I'm living here with you. So what do you say we do a little practice conversation? Practice conversation? What exactly do I think I am? Yeah. No offense intended. I just thought it'd be nice if you had more back and forth skills. So in short, you're saying I'm such a poor conversationalist I need training. Sounding good? Perfect. Hey, don't get so snippy. That's not what I meant. I'm saying we don't talk enough, and I want to talk to you more. It's fun. No. This is an old memory. From when Giselle first returned to the mansion, and we were just starting our new life together. When we were still feeling around in the dark. What exactly would you like to talk about then? Each other, of course. I have nothing to say. Now, let's not be rash. It can be anything. Things you like, things you don't like. Start with something small, insignificant. I do think I remember this part actually, so it's not something new. I have a vague memory. But then I really wondered what the text was about, because it seemed like it was this whole new part, like some sort of backstory or something. Maybe we unlocked something, I don't know. Strange. Does that serve any purpose? It does, yes. The more you know about someone, the closer you feel to them, and the better friends you can become. Is that how it works? Now that that's out of the way, ask me something. Ask me anything, and I'll gladly answer. I like how Michelle is just so awkward in social situations, like, oh, is that how you make friends? I had no idea. I can relate to that so hard. Like, I think it's very difficult to just talk to people you don't know. Small talk is not my favorite thing to do, let's just say that. I think I could definitely use some better small talk skills. Her eyes are lit up like a child's. Is she really so eager to converse with me? I don't believe it. What's the matter? I'm ready for anything. Very well. I'll ask whatever comes to mind. Go for it! Yeah, I definitely remember this part. Okay. You haven't told me your age. My age? Take a guess. I thought she said she would tell me anything. Well, I do know the answer. What do you say, chat? What should we say? Should we go for the right answer or something else? It doesn't affect the endings, so we can pick anything we want, really. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna drink some water. 30? You just wanna call her old, don't you? I mean, 30 is not even old, really. You must be 30. Oh my god, that face, she did not like that. Wow. You're joking, right? Yes. Some jokes are in bad taste. I'm not nearly that old yet. Good job ruining my day. This topic is over. Choose something else. Oops. Tell me about your family. You want to know about my family? We were pretty normal, I think. Not much interesting about us. We have been able to get citizenship in the capital, but we weren't super rich or anything. In fact, it was because we were having money troubles that I ended up here. It's not easy for 3 women to make it on their own. You didn't have a father or any brothers? No. We lost my father to a plague when I was young. And since then, it's been me, my mother, and my older sister. But they're both bright, lively people. Our family's motto is, a smile can make anything better. Maybe that explains why she can still smile now, even after nearly succumbing to despair. I've always kind of wanted some brothers, though. Men are more suited to physical labor, yes. Not quite what I was going for. I feel like, I don't know, the kinds of things you would ask a brother and a sister for help with are different. I'm not sure how to explain it, but a guy with broad shoulders and muscular arms It's someone you can look up to, for instance. Someone who looks like they always keep you safe. She's never been betrayed by family, it would seem. She can't even imagine family hurting her. She has no idea. But those closest to you, those who are supposed to care about you more than anything, can be your greatest enemies. That blood is a bond heavier than any chain. Master? I believe your brothers are still on your side. It's been so long. I don't know if they are. I don't know what they think about me anymore. I'm sure it's still your allies. You want to believe it too, don't you? You want to believe they're not enemies. Let's believe in them together then. Anything you want to believe, you should. It's such a better way to look at the world than the other way around. You have to be positive, or one day you'll crack. Always remember to have faith so that doesn't happen. I don't understand. She's honest about her emotions in a way I simply cannot be. She's the exact opposite of me in that regard. And yet she can still read me. I don't get it. How can she understand me like that? It's like she can read my mind. If only I could just tell her everything. Make it all another page in her mindless shatter. Needs those strong arms to fix laptops? Yeah! I mean, for that it's not really a muscle thing, but yeah, guys are usually better at tech than girls. Don't know why that is. Maybe it's just our interests, which is kind of strange because, I mean, technically, I don't feel like tech is supposed to be like a typical manly thing necessarily, but yeah, I still feel like guys usually are better at it than girls. Of course there are cases in which that is not true, but most of the cases I feel like that is the way things are. Get everything weighing down on me off my chest. Is something the matter? You're cruel. What? I said you're cruel. We're just more likely to be nerds, I think. Maybe, but I mean, I would consider myself quite nerdy, and I still hate tech with a fiery passion. So yeah. But I think it's kind of interesting because it's not because usually I feel like the interests for guys and girls are like with it has to do with biology in some way, not at all in all cases, of course. I'm just generalizing very hard right now, but like guys are often stronger than women, and therefore they tend to do more like heavy stuff. But tech is not one of those things. It's just to use your brain basically, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm just rambling right now, and I don't really have an answer to any of this, so don't mind me. I'm sorry. Ignore me. Wow, I love that Michelle says the exact same thing to Giselle now as well. In preparation for the day you can finally go back home, you're going to have to stop being such a picky eater. Where did that come from? Think about how terrible it would be if, when that day finally came, you went back sickly and weak and emaciated. You wouldn't be able to enjoy yourself. You're still alright, Master. You're doing okay. So let's try to keep you healthy. Tell me your preferences. Wow! How very forward of you! Huh? My taste in men is the last thing I expect you to ask me about, Master. I don't recall specifying people. Now, don't fret the details. It's only natural to be curious, so let's make it about that. And that's the last thing I wanted to talk about. Alright then. Tell me about your first crush, Master. And I have to start? I never had one. What? No, I'm not buying it. You were living at home until 10 years ago, weren't you? Surely there was someone who caught your eye? There was not. Without missing a beat? Oh, fine. Then I'll go. My first crush was the son of a blacksmith. You missed the part where you ask, what kind of guy was he? This is such a pain. Since you asked, he was a huge, muscular fellow. He was so tall he would always hit his head on the doorway whenever he came to a shop to trade. Oh. Michelle is so disinterested in this. Wow. Nice beefy guys really are great, huh? They make your heart get all fluttery and tight. Are you trying to imply I don't have a chance? Though, I think that was more admiration than love. You know, the weird group of girls would get together and fawn over a popular, good-looking guy. It was like that. So you're saying the buff bastard was popular? Oh, Michelle, I love you. Never change. Very much so. I wonder what love feels like. I never got the chance to find out before ending up like this. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to get all dark on you. Say whatever's on your mind. I don't deserve your consideration. It was my family that put you through that, after all. Perhaps it is my reticence that causes her to watch her step around me. Damn. Need to come up with something to say. When I was 14. Oh? You asked about my first crush. Ah, I knew you had one. So tell me, what was she like? She was the daughter of a noble family. Her name was Amy, and she was a year older than me. Ah, love between nobility. A world I can only even imagine. It never went anywhere. What? You didn't try to woo her? You didn't shower her in presents? That Amy? No, it's not amygdala. It's a different Amy, but I mean, could have been the same, maybe? In a different life? Who knows? Were you, by chance, a late bloomer, Master? She was my brother's fiancée. Oh, I see. So it was a love that could never be realized. That's sad. Not really. Besides, I don't feel anything for her anymore. And what I felt then was just impulses. I guess that makes us both inexperienced. I suppose it does. Okay, I think that's enough of that. So it is. I like this. This is a great way to start the day with, don't you think? Just calm, cute moments with our favorite people. I think it's great. Because we know it's gonna go dark after this, probably, most likely. Do you like being here? Of course, I love it here. Being with you. Being able to talk to you like this. See, that I don't understand. What? Why not? I find it difficult to believe there exists any reason speaking with me would be anything but unpleasant. You're so negative. Oh, hush. Say that, for example, instead of me, there was someone not so pessimistic here. You would rather be talking to them, wouldn't you? I really do enjoy this, truly. I will admit, my time down in that village was, for the most part, delightful. But, oh, how should I put this? I started realizing, yeah, I'm kind of forcing myself to fit that image. And I'm trying to convince myself that that's okay. But somehow, when I'm here, there is none of that. I wonder why that is. I certainly wouldn't know. I suppose you wouldn't. Ah, I know. Maybe I think of you as a kid now. Come again. I love talking to kids. What? Hey now, don't give me that look. What I'm trying to say is, you're very sincere, Master. You're not going to smile and then stab me in the back when I turn the other way. I can relax around you, which is nice. I see. You just blushed, didn't you? You're blushing, you adorable little thing. It's alright, you're allowed to fall for me. Is there any window in particular you would like to be thrown out of? No fun at all! See what I was saying, Master? With just a short conversation, I know you better than I did before, and you me. That's fine and well, but what do I do with that knowledge? Huh? You don't do anything with it. It's fun learning things you didn't know before. That's all there is to it. And what happens when there's nothing left to learn? That's a day I don't think will ever come. People are always changing, growing, so there's no upper limit to what you can know about them. There's always something new to discover. Maybe we'll be here for many more years, or maybe you'll be able to go home sooner than you expect. But either way, I hope we can get to know each other until then. And of course, if you're open to it, it doesn't have to end there. We can continue getting to know each other for years to come. Oh, hey now, what are you looking away for? What do you think? Because you keep throwing me off balance. A few months ago, I was doing everything in my power to avoid her. Yet now that smile of hers seems so oddly enchanting. I don't understand. I will do my best so that we can make this work. Ah, I'm glad to hear it. Giselle, I was too awkward back then to even compliment you on your smile, to put my feelings into words. I was too cynical to accept what you said at face value, which I know caused you plenty of grief. I'm not much better now than I was then, but I will tell you this. When I next see you, I want more than anything to let you know how much I adore your smile, and how much I don't want to lose you, or it, ever again. You must never reclaim your old selves. Become my loyal servants, always at my side, and curse them with me, my dears. Eternal suffering on all their souls. Morgana, you are such a party pooper. And we're back to awfulness. My consciousness, wavering like a ship at sea, is slowly drawn back to the surface. With each new breath, feeling gradually returns to my fingers. She's super sweet. I mean, if you're into that, sure. I can hear the pattering of rain from somewhere, and the sound of crackling fire. Creak, creak, creak. Splurt, splurt, splurt. It takes a moment for me to realize I am in the very same spot where I first awoke. I don't know how I got here, but I'm sitting in a rocking chair, hunched forward. My head feels like someone filled it with rocks, and I'm having difficulty focusing. My joints are creaking, and I feel like I'm going to vomit. A suffocating odor hangs over the room. What is this? Giselle. Giselle! Everything comes back to me all at once. That's right, I watched Morgana kidnap her. I watched the witch drag her into the darkness, unable to reach her hand. Where are you, Morgana? Ugh. I know you're there, cackling as you look down on me. Say something, witch! I will find you, and I will take her back. What on earth? There's a pool of liquid at my feet, rising just short of my ankles. It's sticky and uncomfortably warm. Every step I take makes splat splat noises. This is blood. The mansion has taken on a very different face from when Giselle was leading me through its halls. Blood of unknown origin not only covers the floor, but also streams down the walls and drips from the ceiling. I'm speechless as I behold the dreadful scene. Every breath I take tastes and smells of rust. It's also unreal, beyond my comprehension. All I can do is stare, aghast, feeling like I might pass out. Giselle, are you seeing this? This same twisted nightmare as me? An image of her floating alone in a vast sea of blood flashes through my mind. That vision kicks me into motion. I promise, I will come for you. So please, just hang in there for a little longer. I begin walking, or more accurately, dragging my heavy feet forward. The constant splashing of blood against my ankles grates at my already taut nerves. Morgana told me to find my way to her, and I can think of only one place she would be. She and Giselle must be there. The stained glass window is splattered with blood too. It creates trails like streams of tears running down the Archangel's face. I give the window a brief glance before making my way to the door leading to the observation tower. However, why won't it open? There shouldn't be a lock. So why? Lustrous black chains seal the metal door. I can recall no such obstruction present during either my life or the time hereafter. What on earth is going on in this house? No, that's not important right now. What matters is making it through this door. Damn it! I pull and I push, but the chains won't give an inch. They feel sturdy enough that I probably couldn't cut through them either. There has to be some way. I consider giving up here and scouring the rest of the house, but I'm convinced the tower is my best chance. The fact that it is sealed, when it hadn't been before, Feels like a challenge more than a deterrent. I trace a length of chain with my hand, and at the end of it I find a peculiar looking lock, into which the ends of several chains have been fed. There are 3 keyholes. Morgana fashioned a custom lock just for this. I need to find 3 keys to open the door, then... But I have no idea where to begin my search. I lived here for more than 10 years, and yet it feels like I stepped into a strange land. No, it's not the same house. Searching blindly is only going to waste time, and the longer I take, the more danger she is in. I met someone before who had a key. It was before I had reclaimed myself, when I was exploring the mansion alone. Think, Michelle, who was it? The painting. Oh, look at that. Like everything else in the house, the painting is covered in blood. That it depicts a serene rural landscape only makes the contrast that much grimmer. I remember talking to this painting, assuming I wasn't hallucinating. I have a question for you. Are you awake? Please, wake up. Ah. Can you hear my voice? Please say something. You reside here in the house like the witch, don't you? You've been here with her all this time, haven't you? Then you must know how to get into the observation tower. About the 3 keys that I need to open the lock. I need to get into the tower. Please, tell me where I can find the keys. Say something, damn it! Answer my question! Ah. Why someone there? What? What's the matter? I feel kind of strange. Did that witch do something to me? Please, get a hold of yourself. Everything's all red. I can't stand it. I don't remember using that color. I reach my hand up to try to wipe as much of the blood off the canvas as possible, but I can't even smear it with my sleeve, let alone get it off. You're wasting your time. But it's the thought that counts. Anyway, you had a question for me. Go on, I'm listening. I guess the painting isn't on the witch side then. The door to the observation tower has been locked. I need to gather 3 keys, I think. That's my assumption, since the lock has 3 keyholes. Do you know of any such keys? And if so, could you tell me where they might be? Keys? Keys? Keys. Please stay with me. You're the only one I can ask for help. Keys. How many times can you say the word keys before it gets weird, guys? I'm guessing that this is probably in some way connected to her past. Here, kitty. Yeah. Sort of sounds like that, exactly. Her past. You know the events the witch is always cursing about. What happened between her and those three men? What happened between them? The keys are probably with the three of them. The three shadows. You must have seen them. Three men. Shadows. Find them. And you'll probably find the keys too. But watch yourself. They aren't likely to trust you easily. The depth of their sins grows greater the further you go. Visit them in order. In order. The first one probably won't be a problem. So tell me something. You're Michelle, aren't you? What? I've wanted to apologize to you for so long. Wait! What do you mean? Do you know me? Did you? What do you want to apologize for? Tell me, please. Could you be... But why? How? When everything else is finished, I'm going to need to visit this painting again. But now, I have other things to do. You're impressed? That was well handled. I have a nice painting voice, thank you. That was difficult to do in one take, yeah. But it was fun, it was really fun. Yeah, so I'm glad you liked it. The painting gave me a hint about where I could find the keys. I don't know anything about this past Morgana has with the three men. I never asked her about herself after all. So maybe I'm going to end up having to do more than simply take Giselle back. Has our involvement with the witch caused us to be swept up in her twisted maelstrom of fate? Regardless, I need to get to work. The painting said to visit them in order. I assume he was referring to the order I entered the 3 doors? Alright, I need to drink some water because that was hard to do. Okay, so we are going to the rose garden first then. I like that they try to trick us to like go to the den first. I guess we would get a bad ending if we did. But we're not gonna experiment on that, I want the good ending. I make my way to the rose garden. The corridor leading there is a mess, and the wooden door is rotting away. I can smell the flowers on the other side. Everything is different from when I was alive. From when Giselle planted and raised that single rose. A scene from the past spreads out before me. The field of once proudly flourishing roses is now withered and grey. Knowing how beautiful it had once been only makes it that much more dispiriting. A bitter breeze brushes past me. Solitude hangs over the garden like a thick fog, eating away at me. This isn't what I wanted. Someone, get me out of here. Oh God, tell me it's not all my fault. A young man's shadow stands off the side, muttering listlessly to himself. I recognize his voice. "Do you have the key?" The boy and I have never met, but I feel like I know him quite well, like we have been acquainted for many years. I know how polite and mild-mannered he is. I know how kind and how vulnerable, how human his heart is. However, very little of that boy seems to remain. This isn't what I wanted. Oh God. Please, please answer me. Someone, get me out of here. Tell me, it's not all my fault. Answer me, Melrose! I know that's you! Huh? As soon as I say the shadow's name, it turns to face me. I still can't make out much detail, but it seems slightly less tenuous now. Who are you? How do you know my name? My name is Michelle. I once lived here, in this mansion. Michelle. I know that name. I like how the spelling was different there, because Mel remembers the white-haired girl, so he assumes it's spelled the same way. It's kind of an interesting detail, I think. I know it very well. But something's not right. You look different from the Michelle I remember. I am not the Michelle you know. Our names simply sound the same. Oh, that makes sense. She would never come to see me. I have a question for you. Do you have the key to the observation tower? I do. Would you please give it to me? I need to get into the tower. And what do you need there? There's someone there I need to find. That's all? It may not sound like much to you, but it means a great deal to me. You're not one of her prisoners then? No. I came here of my own will. To find this person? Exactly. Then maybe you can help me. Help you how? Set me free. Convince her to release me from this place. I'm begging you. The anguish emanating from the boy's shadow is so thick it causes me to recoil. There's a thread of dark desperation in his voice. Has he been kept imprisoned here for hundreds of years like Giselle? Promise me, you get me out of here. Am I even equipped to judge whether that would be a good decision or not? All I know of him is his time in the mansion during the era of roses. I know nothing else of his life. I don't even know if I would be capable of keeping such a promise. Do I have the strength to save anyone other than her? Do you absolutely need the key? You won't agree to help me without it, will you? What? I dropped it. Over there. Huh? The boy is pointing to a thick bramble of roses. Despite the flowers themselves being wilted, the thorns are still sharp. It was an accident, I swear. But I didn't want to scratch up my arm, so I left it there. It's not my fault there are so many thorns. I really want to hit this boy. Why couldn't you have just said so? Because I thought, if I didn't have the key, that you wouldn't help me. There's only so much I can do, regardless of whether you have the key. I cannot promise you anything, nor can I be the judge of you. I see. I do not have enough information to make such a decision. Cheap promises and superficial kindness would only serve to destroy the both of us. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to retrieve the key. What? You'll never get it out of those thorns. I don't care if it's at the bottom of the ocean, I will have that key. You're wasting your time. I approach the bramble, reaching out for it with my right hand. From behind me, I can sense the boy watching. First, I attempt to spread the tangled thorn-ridden stems so I can put my arms in without injuring myself. But they seem to be made of iron rather than plant, and my efforts prove mostly fruitless. The only opening is barely large enough to fit an arm in, and it resembles the toothy mouth of a beast. Looking around the garden, I can't find anything that looks remotely useful. I guess my only option is reaching in. That's not going to stop me. I lean down, inserting my right arm into the thorny cavern. Immediately they begin ripping at my sleeve and gashing at my flesh. Ow. Blood spills down my arm. I'm long since dead, no longer human, but the pain is still agonizing, still very much real. Giselle, she doesn't bleed. She doesn't feel pain. Am I not the same as her then? That doesn't matter right now. Focus on getting the damn key! Streams of crimson spreads through the steel-like tangle gnawing at my arm like a ravenous animal. Where the hell is the key? The thorny stems are twisted and layered so thick I can't see inside at all. As I dig around blindly, I start losing feeling in my arm. It's an endless deluge of pain. Hey, cut it out! You're going to lose your arm! I will not stop until I have the key! Don't ask me for help. I wasn't even considering it. I collect what remains of my gradually fading sensation and focus it into my fingers, praying even one of them will brush against the key. Damn it! But as much as I search, as much as I dig, I find nothing so much as resembling a key, which means it must be deeper than I can reach my arm. Is this when Mel tells him he had it in his pocket all along? We will see. Even so, I cannot give up. Hey, please, be quiet, right now. I need to focus. I'm sorry, I do have the key actually. Yeah, you were right. You were absolutely right. He was that kind of an asshole. Mel! My boy. Why? You what? I'm so sorry. It didn't look like you were willing to help me even if I gave it to you, so... Plus, she told me not to give it to anyone for any reason. Hold still so I can beat you! I didn't mean you any ill will. You most certainly did. I'll give you the key, so please, have mercy. Trembling in fear, the boy's shadow sticks out a hand, holding a key. The arm I used to dig through the thorns is so bloody and gashed I can barely look at it, but it does still function. And so I take the key from him with my right hand. Why wouldn't you use your other hand? That's gross. Oh, shut up, Mel. Seriously. Wow. I do not like this boy. My goodness. That's the idea. Good, Michelle. You tell him. You're kind of a jerk, you know. That's a laugh coming from you. Do you have any idea how much that hurt? I know. I'm sorry, really. But hey, you're alive, so no big deal, right? But wait, can you actually say either of us are alive? I don't even know anymore. I do appreciate you giving me the key, though, seeing as it seemed to be rather important to you. Hey, is this person you want to get back? really worth going through all this for? She is. She's the one person who ever loved me. And she's waiting for me. I see. You know, I had someone that meant a lot to me too. My sister. Which one? Which... The one with the flaxen hair, like me. If you happen to see her, do something nice for her, please. That, I would say, is your responsibility. Yeah, you're right. But I'll keep it in mind. Thanks. In the tale I witnessed, the boy pushed his sister away. For an understandable reason, admittedly. But now, he seems to bear no grudge for her. Did something else happen between them? Even if it did, I don't have time to ask about it. I'll be on my way. Alright, take care. There are 2 more keys. Watch out though. They're not the most friendly people. And they'll probably be even more enraged locked up like this. I appreciate the warning. If only someone like you had shown up sooner and taken the keys from us. Goodbye. After bidding me farewell, the boy's phantom dissipates into the shadows of the rose garden. I wonder if he's gone back to mindlessly muttering his regrets. I should get going. Mel really is sort of an asshole to be... I can't even speak. He's an asshole, is what I'm trying to say. He seems like the first door is trying to make him seem all sweet and innocent, and like all the bad things are just happening to him. And I think that's part of like the house in Fata Morgana trying to lure us into the story, like pretending it's just a sweet romance story, you know. Because it's before we know what kind of dark, twisted story it will be. So it's told sort of like from Mel's perspective, so we see it all from his eyes, and he seems all sweet and innocent, and like all bad things are just happening to him. But he is very much responsible for his own actions, and he is not the nicest person all the times. He's not nearly as bad as Jacopo or Yukimasa, but he is definitely not an innocent little boy, that's for sure. So let's go down to the cellar. I descend the stairs, opening the cellar door. The first time I visited this room, the smell of blood from within was nearly suffocating. Now, the entire house reeks of it, and I started to go numb to the odor. There's no one here. Am I in the wrong place? I begin exploring the cellar, hoping to maybe find a key hidden away or abandoned somewhere. As I reach my hand out to investigate one area, a shadow leaps out of the thick darkness. It's so swift I have no time to react. My body freezes in place. A shadow stands before me, holding the tip of a blade mere inches from my face. A key. You have a key. I do, yes. Cold sweat trickles down my back. My voice is shaking, and there's no hiding it. The shade appears to be glaring at me, though I cannot make out its face. After a few seconds, it withdraws its blade. Let me see it. The boy's key. Did he give it to you? In the rose garden? Yes. Are you two acquaintances? How could that be, though? You are from a completely different era and country. Who are you? I'm No, never mind. Who you are is irrelevant to me. Are you human now? If you're speaking of my nature, then no is the only answer I can give you. You didn't kill me though. If you wanted to, you could easily skewer me where I stand. If that's what you want, I'd be happy to oblige. What did you come here for? For your key. I came to ask if you would give it to me. You mean to open that door? I need to get into the tower, yes. I see. Take it. The man's shadow tosses the key at my feet. I'm not quite sure what to think. I didn't expect him to give up so readily. What? Take it! I won't stab you in the back while you're bending over. I thought you were supposed to hold onto this at all costs. I no longer have any reason to guard that key. In the past, I might have severed your head from your shoulders the moment you mention it, though. That was easy? Yeah! I find it very interesting that Yukimasa, the savage beast who slaughters everyone and laughs as he does it, is the one just giving us the key, while Mel, the sweet innocent Mel, is just making our life so difficult and makes us bleed for it. I think that is very interesting. Says a lot about the characters, really. What point in the past? That's a question I wish I knew the answer to. Hey, do you know why I'm here? Where this place is? When it is? Why can't I get out of here? What's happened to me? Tell me! I have no idea what's going on. Not a single goddamn idea. Neither do I. Get out. Take the key and get out of here. Get out! I can't bring myself to say anything to the enraged shadow, so I follow his command, picking up the key and departing the cellar. I thought I was dead for a second. This makes two, though. What could have happened between these people? The painting mentioned a past with them, and Morgana spoke of the wicked men she cursed. Does that mean they did something awful enough to earn Morgana's spite? Right now, though, I must push onward. If I'm not mistaken, the final key should be in that room. The room with the billiards table? What is billiards anyway? I should get moving. Once I have this key, I can get into the observation tower. I'm almost certain Morgana is waiting for me there. Witchy cell. So I gather up my resolve and hurry to the last room, not wanting to take even a second longer than necessary getting her back. I can hardly believe my eyes when I step into the den. In the middle of the room is a large rectangular table. Several balls roll across its surface, and perched on one corner, looking down at the floor, is her. Giselle! Giselle! The question of why she's here never crosses my mind. All I feel is elation to see her once more. There's no room for anything else in my mind. I run over to her, put my hand on her shoulder. Thank goodness you're all right! And turn her toward me. What? Giselle! Giselle! I shake her, causing her head to droop lifelessly. There's not a trace of light in her unmoving eyes. Ah! Why? Giselle, why? Ah! 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 Say something, Giselle! Say anything, please! This can't be! You can't be! You can't be! My mind goes blank. I can't catch my breath. The world is hazy. Why? Why is Giselle? Why did I have to find her like this? Why? I swore I would do anything. I swore I would never lose you again. No, no, no. This can't be. A thought crosses my dazed, despair-wrought mind. It's probably nothing more than vain hope, but... Not a drop of blood spilled from my breast. That's right. She doesn't bleed. So this can't be her. This isn't her! Or maybe Morgana has the power to alter Giselle's very nature. Kill her with a flick of her wrist. No, I don't even want to think about it. There's no hope to be found down that path. All I can do is pray. Beg for her to still be alive. Or if alive isn't the right word, herself. My praise brings me back to reality. Which is when I realize there's something hard pressed against the back of my head. I hear a harsh metallic clink. What? A piercing bang rips through the air as I drop to the hard floor. My ears are ringing painfully. Through the cloud of smoke and confusion, I see a man's silhouette. Missed. It takes several moments for me to recognize the object in his hands as a gun. Not only because it's draped in shadow, but because I've never seen one with my own eyes. Had I not witnessed what they were capable of through the stories, I would have not understood how terrifying they were. Not a problem though. I'll finish you with the next one. Now, you hold still, boy. Start running around like a rat, and I can't guarantee you a painless death. Wait. Hold on a second. What are you trying to kill me for? Because you make too much goddamn noise, that's why. Don't tell me you're the one who... What? I turn my gaze toward the large table. Giselle isn't there. It must have been an illusion after all. The realization sends a wave of relief through me. I still have a gun in my face though. Curious man you are. Does the table warrant your attention more than me? I have a request. Could you give me the key in your possession? That's all I need, and then I'll leave and stop making a racket. I'm not sure you understand your predicament, boy. Because if you think you're in any position to be asking favors, you're dumber than you look. Ha! First off, I don't even know what key you're talking about. I don't believe that. The other two had keys. You're telling me they gave you the keys? It sounds like they really do know each other. See for yourself. I believe you should recognize these. Are you collecting them to enter the tower? Are you going to see Morgana? There seems to be a hint of tension in the man's voice. Though I can't see his face, I can sense the waves forming within him. I brace myself for either rejection or hot lead. But the apparition gives me neither. Take me with you! What? You have the other two keys, don't you? Then you can open the door. Bring me to the witch. Wait, slow down. What are you planning to do when you see her? What do you think? She has to... She... has... to... He's gone. She has to... What? What was he trying to say? Well, we have 3 keys now. On the floor where the shade stood is a new key. Curious though I am about his last words. This makes 3. I have all the keys now. Hello, Morgana. Are you trying to rile me up, Morgana? Are you enjoying yourself up there, showing me these phantoms and watching me squirm? Just you wait. I'm on my way. I give the room a brief once-over before making my way back to the chapel. Confirmed Mel is the most evil in the story. I wouldn't say he's most evil, but he's definitely not as nice as he first seems in the first door, I would say. I mean, you can't say that the other 2 are, like, good people either. Like, Yukimasa is a psychotic serial killer, and Jacopo is Jacopo, so, you know. But yeah, they all are kind of shitty people, to be honest. The keys fit perfectly in the openings on the lock, and when I insert the last one, it clicks open, the chains sealing the door falling to the floor. They're waiting beyond this door, at the top of the stairs. I start pondering what I can even do in a face-off against Morgana, which sends a nervous shudder down my spine. I'm not going to back down regardless, but she is a witch, and I'm a mere human. Formerly human. I'm not a master swordsman, nor do I wield a gun. I have nothing at all with which to fight her. I still have to confront the witch though, no matter what. As laughably reckless, as foolish as I may be. I have no other option. I place my hand on the door, preparing to climb the tower where I once spent my last breath, Giselle locked safely away in the chamber at the top. The tower where I first met the witch. No hesitation. I'm looking at the time. I think it's too early to stop, so I think we go for a little bit more, hoping that there will be some sort of good stop point. I think there will be, I hope, because I don't have, I cannot sit overtime today, but I also don't want to stop here, so I feel like we push on for a little bit and then we'll see. But I need to stand up for a bit because I'm feeling rather stiff at the moment, so I will do that. You guys do the same. It's good to move, and I'll be back in a few seconds, so don't go anywhere. Alright, that feels a lot better. Let's continue on with the story. Sound of blood streaming down the stairs, echoes of the stone walls. Although I have begun growing numb to the house's otherworldly ornamentation, the sight of a seemingly endless river of blood flowing down the spiral staircase sends a chill through me. Every step I climb makes a splat-splat noise. When I reach a window, I look out to see a churning reddish-black fog. Now this brings me back. You climbing these stairs alone, just like old times. Morgana. I waited so long for someone like you to show up. Someone with enough despair to resurrect me. Give her back. But now, I don't see it in you. I don't feel one bit of that intense hopelessness anymore. Give her back! And here I thought we were cut from the same cloth. Morgana! Yes, I'll give her back. If you can make it to me without losing yourself. I will not give up. It doesn't matter what you do. Looking up, I can't see how far the stairs extend. It's just a gaping blackness, so I have no way of knowing for sure whether I'm getting any closer. Around and around, around and around, around and around. Beneath me, the blood river traces the same path in reverse. I start to wonder if the staircase even does end, if I'm not just eternally retracing my own steps. But I continue climbing regardless. It's all I can do. Put one foot in front of the other, and hope I make it to the top. Morgana. What is this place? What did you do to it? What is it? Why, it's the mansion you lived in for a decade, of course. You look at this and tell me it's the same house. What's with the blood everywhere? And the 3 shadows? Now, my dear, no need to raise your voice. And you're being impolite, one question at a time. Answer me! What is this place? That's immaterial. Even if I were to give you an answer you found satisfying, what would that knowledge do for you? Your objective is to reach the top of these stairs and rescue your cell. Nothing more, nothing less. Isn't that right? Or, by chance, have you taken an interest in me? Despite never once having asked me about myself before. My gut tells me that without knowing what this place is, without even the briefest glimpse at its nature, I won't be able to safely get her back. Without knowing what I'm up against, I don't stand a chance. Please tell me about this mansion, Morgana. About yourself. What are you, Morgana? A witch? No, that's not what I'm asking. Why do you have these powers that you do? What are you? Yes, I get it. Humans feel the need to attach names to things and phenomena they don't understand. I understand that feeling very well. Which is why I'm sure you'll be very disappointed when I reveal the truth. What do you mean? What I mean is, I'm an ordinary human. That's not possible. You expect me to believe a human created this illusion? Then are you saying I'm a magician or a wizard, like you might see in a fairy tale? I would believe that, over you being human. Think back then, would you? Recall our time together. Did I ever once use magic? Did I control fire or wind? Did I create illusions? No, I did none of that, because I could not. To you, when you were alive, I suppose you could say, I was naught but a simple ghost. A rather mischievous, but otherwise powerless spirit. And I was nothing more to those 3 men either. The witch Morgana was never anything but a wretched phantom haunting this old house. But then, how do you explain this? Michelle, my dear, we're not the same beings we once were. We're different than we were in the realm of light, the era of the living. You figured that much out though, haven't you? That you're already dead. Yes, I know. I know I couldn't possibly be alive. Yet still you view this world through the lens of the living. You make no effort to see it as the land of the dead. Tell me, why would you think that the realm of the living and dead are the same? But the worlds behind each door was so vibrant. The mansion itself never had any color. They were the memories of the past, of the land of the living, of times forever lost to us. Our lives have already come to an end, my dear. Every last soul within these walls is dead. This is the world that lies beyond the end. It is my world. This is the afterlife. Why get caught up in the minutiae? I have no idea how to pronounce that, but minutiae I will go for. Sorry if I butcher it. None of us has a future, so what reason is there for you to desperately obsess over taking Giselle back? Just like you, she's long since dead. She's a walking corpse. It's nothing I didn't already know, but hearing her say it is like a kick to the gut. Dead or alive, she still lives on within this house, and my spirit found its way back too. Why then should I not wish for her to have a future? No matter what form it may take. No matter if my choice is erase her from this world entirely. Having seen what lies beyond the door in her heart, what happened in all those hundreds of years, I could never let her remain here with you, trapped in this world bereft of light, drifting aimlessly for all eternity. So determined you feel the need to raise your voice. But you're not going to budge on that point, I see. I ask you this again, Morgana. Please tell me about yourself. How did you become a witch? How did you end up attached to this house? I want to hear your story. You honestly want to know about me? I do now, yes. But not for me, for her, right? Don't be shy now. It's the truth, isn't it? Besides, if you did say it was for me, not her, I might die of laughter. As you wish. You have seen many tales of people's lives since arriving here, and now you shall see mine. Though I ask you this, will you writhe in despair with me? Will you endure maddening agony for me? Will you know pain enough to make you howl? Will you face despair again and again and again? As I said before, if that is what you want from me, let me tell you something though, my dear. It will not be as easy to watch as you imagine. Now that you've reclaimed yourself, you will be able to feel all my pain as if it were your own, to resonate with it. Resonate with it. You no longer have your little guardian with you either. My guardian. She was always protecting me. You'll have a wonderful time, I'm sure. It's a tale that could only have taken place in that era of miracles and spirituality. Wondrous and weird, senseless and stupid, hopelessly tragic. Will you watch it with me? As soon as the final word leaves her mouth, I'm engulfed in darkness, not even given a moment to brace myself. The tower's stairs crumble beneath me. My feet had nowhere to go. As I'm being battered by the roaring blood river, my consciousness melts with another. Oh, I like this background. I think it's new. From this version, I mean. Also, this music is so good. I carry within me the child of God. That is where it all began. The words of one foolish woman determined the course of my entire life. Before I was even born, my fate was decided. Did her claim come from faith? Was it her way of escaping reality? Did she do it for money or fame? I don't know. I have been visited by an angel of the Lord. The village where she lived had suffered from years of poor harvest. It had been months since the last rain, and all the villagers prayed desperately to be blessed with succor. I am with child, though I am no man. So proclaimed the pregnant woman in the midst of the drought. And on the day of my birth, the very moment I let out my first cry, a heavy rain fell down upon the village. The storm quenched the parched earth, nourishing the crops and saving the village. The villagers were astounded, for they had thought the drought would never end. As plump drops of rain poured down upon the village, they gathered around the newborn me in exultation. Ah, she is the child of God! Perhaps there would be more wonder in claiming I had magical powers. Perhaps it would make a better story if I were to say there were higher forces involved. But all these years later, here is what I truly think. It was nothing more than a fluke, an improbable stroke of luck, an unbelievably fortunate accident for my mother and the village, and an indescribably unfortunate accident for myself. I am with child, though I have known no man. As if that's even possible. Maybe she had fooled around with a man who had gone and abandoned her, and she spouted those lies to convince herself it had never happened. None of the village men had made any claim to be my father. Perhaps he was someone else's husband, and as such he couldn't reveal himself, as adultery is a sin in the eyes of God. The girl they were praising as a child of God was indeed not more than the ordinary daughter of a wretched woman. At the time, though, I thought differently. I believed my mother's words, convinced I was a saint, and it gave me a sense of duty, of purpose, rather than superiority. As the daughter of God, I believed it was my responsibility to help anyone in need. So every day I prayed. I asked my father what I could do, what I was meant to do. Not everyone is equally good, however. There will always be someone who lends their ear to the devil's whispers. One man claimed I was the daughter of a charlatan. He shouted for all to hear, "If you really are the child of God, then perform a miracle for us." Could he have been any more unreasonable? Miracles are neither magic nor parlor tricks. They are realized through the power of faith. A lowly villager has no place demanding God to prove his own divinity. It is the height of arrogance. But the man refused to heed my words. So, having no other choice, I contemplated what I could do to show him I was, indeed, a saint. And blood was the spark of my inspiration. Michelle, the time when I lived and the time when you lived were not so different. Our views and beliefs about the world are very much the same. So you should understand that in our time, blood was seen as unclean. It was a dreadful thing, ridden with diseases, which is why we drain the blood from animals and purify the flesh before consuming it. But being a saint, my blood would have been different. Like the blood of saints who came before me, mine would be blessed. I believe it would be able to cleanse people's impurities. For my demonstration, I chose an elderly woman afflicted with a terrible disease. She was on her deathbed, and no one thought she would live for longer than a day or two. The woman was overjoyed when I came to visit her. Sincerely believing me to be a holy servant of the Lord, she gathered all the strength she could muster to climb from her bed and kiss my feet. I felt an intensely deep love for this woman. Placing my hand upon her cheeks, I said with all the kindness in my heart, "My beloved sister, partake of my blood." The woman agreed without a glimpse of hesitation, and so I pricked the tip of my finger with the knife and let the blood drip into her mouth. Within 3 days her health had improved enough for her to get out of bed unassisted. Seeing that, no one in the village doubted my powers any longer. In fact, the man who had accused me of being the daughter of a charlatan was subsequently punished for his sins. He received much deserved retribution for challenging the daughter of God, for mocking her. But of course, being a saint, I forgave the man. He, in turn, repented and changed his ways, worshipping me as the true child of God. Now, I'll be honest with you. I was ecstatic, utterly elated. I felt like I was on the top of the world, and I reveled in it. The villagers showered me with adulation. They revered me, the daughter of God. Anyone who didn't was punished. And on top of that, my blood could cause miracles. Tell me, do you look down on me for feeling the way I did? The actual child of God would never let herself be consumed by such base emotions, would she? But if you would give me a chance, I would like to explain myself. I was but a young girl at the time, and to a child, her mother is the world. Anything she says is the absolute truth. So when my mother's claims so happened to coincide with the lucky miracle, my young mind was set in stone. I was a saint. It's actually very true that children tend to believe everything their mom says to them. I just remember, like, when I was a kid, I was like maybe 6, 7 years old, and I was in love with a group called 18s that did like ABBA covers. I loved them. I thought they were so cool. They were my favorite. But I also knew that my mom really liked Britney Spears. So I asked her, like, Mom, do you like Britney Spears or 18 the most? And she said, I like Britney Spears more. And I was like, okay, then I do too. And I was so sad because I didn't really feel that way. I was like, no, but 18s. So yeah, I can recognize what Morgana is saying here, definitely. My blood could heal the sick, and nothing would convince me otherwise. After all, I was but a girl of 6 years old. See? Same age. It is not my place to decide whether my blood truly had miraculous powers or not. If you think it did, then it did, and if you think it was all out happenstance, then so it was. Miracles are brought about by faith. So the elderly woman who was healed was done so by the power of her own belief. Baseless hope and desire can, at times, make the otherwise impossible a reality. You understand just how major a role religion played in our time, don't you, Michelle? Especially as someone whose life was taken from him in the name of God. And you understand how powerful a word of mouth can be as well, don't you? It didn't take long for word of the miracle performing child of God to spread. Travelers from faraway lands came to our village, all in search of aid. Driven by a mixture of elation and duty, I gave my blessings unto every pilgrim who sought them. I gave them my blood, yes. My young hands were perpetually covered in wounds. Running out of skin on my fingers, I cut the back of my hands, my palms, my wrists. Before long they had turned into swollen, carved up black and red horrors. And so I kept them wrapped in cloth at all times. The only time I uncovered them was to give blood to those who sought it. My lacerated hands were, in no uncertain terms, gruesome and unsightly. But the believers who came to see me all wept at my selfless sacrifice. And so I came to cherish those wounds. There were some for whom no miracle took place, but whenever that would happen, the villager would simply come out and say, "The daughter of God is not to blame, you simply lack sufficient faith." Thus, such incidents had no negative effect on my reputation as a saint. For 3 years I continued doling out blessings. One day, while I was offering a prayer, my mother let slip her discontent. Why must you hand out miracles for nothing? Why must you give strangers grace? We should be getting compensated. We deserve remuneration. If we charge just a little bit for each blessing, we could be living so much more comfortably. I was dumbfounded. How could the mother of a saint say such things? Helping people was my divine calling, and she expected payment. I nearly wept, hearing my mother preoccupied with such worldly desires. So I explained to her how important this work was. I taught her that we were not to covet material wealth, that we were to dedicate our lives to the service of our fellow man. "You're right, my dear saint," she said, understanding. And I believed her. I fell asleep that night, convinced she truly understood, and that there would be no more problems. But the next day, I was sold off. Oh. Men I had never seen before carried me by the arms and tossed me into a carriage. Confused and panicked, I stuck my head out, searching for my mother. Off in the shadow of the house, I saw her with a strange man, accepting a bag of coins. Remember guys, she is 6 years old. Like, this is so dark and awful. Imagine not having to care about money. It would be nice being a child again. Yeah, definitely, it would be nice. But I do understand where Morgana is coming from. Even if she wasn't a child, I could, in a way, understand it. So yeah, but... The answer is not to sell your kids, though. Like, seriously. The carriage rocked back and forth as it rolled along a dirt road. Shaking and bouncing within it, I struggled with overwhelming grief and despair. It was, perhaps, the first time in my life I had felt such a powerful emotion. I didn't know what I felt so much despair over, though. Obviously it was over my present predicament, but I wasn't sure what about it hurt the most. Was it that I had been pawned off like a slave? Was it that my mother, the mother of a saint, had been blinded by money? Was it that the villagers had watched in silence as a disciple of the Lord was thrown into a carriage? Or was it that I, daughter of God, lamented my misfortune like a mortal? I decided it was a trial. My father, the Lord God, was testing my worthiness of being his daughter, so I choked back my urge to cry and sat there in silent contemplation. For almost 3 weeks I rocked around in the carriage. The coachman treated me well enough, but I'm certain it was only because he didn't want his precious cargo dying before he could deliver it. He did not by any means think me the child of God. The 3rd week the carriage arrived at the city. It was much larger than the village I had grown up in, with many, many more people crowding the streets. Something about them felt different too. They all spoke in a tongue foreign to me, which is when I realized I was far, far away from home. I was delivered to the lavishly decorated mansion of the region's lord. Brightly colored flowers bloomed wildly in the garden, as guests laughed and ate extravagant meals. And in addition to them, there were probably 4 times as many slaves moving about the grounds. Getting a range of looks from everyone we passed, from smartly dressed men to scrawny, emaciated servants, I was led to the Lord's chambers. The Lord was surrounded by beautiful women. Perhaps they were slaves, or perhaps they were prostitutes, I couldn't tell. Among them were some girls hardly older than me. They all wore thin swathes of cloth, barely covering themselves at all. The Lord looked me up and down, and with a laugh he said, "Welcome, daughter of God. You'll be performing miracles for me now." "Miracles are not something to be performed for one single person's benefit," I replied, shocked and furious he had just said something so utterly blasphemous. In response he said, "I bought you. You are my property. You have no right to an opinion." But I would not have any of it. I entreated him to give up his indulgent lifestyle and devote himself to the servitude of the Lord. But the more I pleaded, the deeper the creases on his face grew. Thinking back on it now, it was hardly surprising. A 9-year-old girl was scolding the most powerful man in the region. I believed it was my duty, and that I was only doing what was right, but he surely saw it as incredible arrogance. So the Lord forced his will upon me. He bound my hands and feet and cut me without my permission, filling a goblet with my blood and passing it around to his guests. "A saint's blood and good fortune to all." I like how the background is getting more blood in it as we go. That was when I realized the Lord was only interested in the approval of others. He reveled in their envy as he pranced about, showing off his curious new toy, me. He didn't need my miracles. Neither he nor any of his guests were afflicted with disease or misfortune. They were all richly blessed. Every time he threw a banquet, he drained me of my blood. It became nearly impossible to find a spot on either of my arms that wasn't a swollen reddish-black gash. And soon, because my arms weren't providing enough blood for him, the cutting spread to my legs. I lived in a haze of half-consciousness. Honestly, I'm amazed it didn't kill me, though perhaps the Lord was simply taking care not to take more than my body could spare. Watching the wealthy partygoers laugh and sip my blood through bleary eyes, another wave of despair came over me. My miracles, my blood, were not meant to be an appetizer at a feast, they were meant for the sick and the poor. But despite my wishes, the Lord persisted to squeeze me dry, day in and day out, for his own enjoyment. For a while, I was convinced it was all God's test, that it was part of his plan for me, his daughter, that if I could make it through this trial, I would be allowed to go back to helping people. That man would celebrate my success, envy me. That man would celebrate my excess, envy me, worship me. That sinners would face punishment. That divine retribution would be delivered unto all who had wronged me, a saint. With each passing day, my spirit grew more twisted. Would anyone have believed that the scarred and bloodied girl tied up on the floor in the banquet hall was a saint? Unlikely. This was no charitable gathering, but an unholy Sabbath. Perhaps it was caused by my corrupted spirit. Perhaps it was my heart's way of crying for help. Or perhaps it was the devil giving me my witch's mark. But no matter what the cause, during one of the bloody banquets, I underwent a transformation. I was half conscious, as usual, when one of the guests pointed at me and shouted something. His face went pale, as if it was afraid, which I found quite curious. The Lord then approached me, grabbing me by the hair and lifting my head. He yelled something, but I was too far gone to be able to make out what he was saying. Suddenly, I found myself released from my bonds, but my body had grown so weak from being tied up for so long, I didn't have the strength to hold myself up, and so I collapsed on the floor. I was still trying to figure out what was happening when the Lord drew a sword, raising it high above his head. His words in that moment reached me with perfect clarity. "You're a damn witch wearing a saint's skin!" A witch? Why was he calling me a witch? I was the holy daughter of God. I had certainly never made a pact with the devil. What could have given him that idea? What was in store for me now? Had God performed some kind of miracle for him? Dozens of thoughts and questions floated through my mind as death hung over me. I couldn't comprehend anything, and so I didn't feel any fear or anger at my impending death. I was simply curious. What had happened to me? But before I had a chance to find that answer, the Lord swung down his blade. Alright guys, I see that we don't have much more time, so I think this is the perfect place to end it since it's a pause in Morgana's story. So I'm going to switch the screen. That was a lot of reading. It's a lot of reading the whole time, but Morgana's story is more like a regular story. I feel like it's less dialogue and more narrating, so I had to drink quite a lot of water there. It's nice remembering her point of view. Yeah, it's an interesting story for sure. I also like the way she is telling it. Like, she tells it with such detachment from it, so unemotionally. And I feel like that is giving us quite a clue to how hurt she really is, because she was 9. She was 9 years old. Just a kid, really. And having to go through all of this, it's awful. And surely it has left a mark on her forever. So just as Giselle, she has a lot of trauma in her baggage. A kind of very different kind of trauma, to be sure, but she is definitely traumatized, and I feel like her telling the story in the way that she does is a way to like detach from it, because she does not want to feel all these things. She wants Michelle to feel it, like she wants someone to feel her pain, to understand her, what she has gone through, but she does not want to feel it herself, and that's why we're not seeing it through like a normal door like all the other stories, because she does not want that, and this is her realm, so she can choose however she wants to give us this story, and she's not giving us the pleasure of enjoying it as a regular door, because that would be too hurtful for her. At least that's my interpretation of it, because she's telling the story very detached and very, this happened and then this happened and I felt like this, but then it was like this. It's not very flowery. Knowing what happened through the expansion makes it worse too. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to going through Requiem after this. And it's so interesting how different this is from Requiem, because for those of you who don't know, a Requiem for Innocence is the prequel story to the House in Fata Morgana, and it tells basically Morgana's story in a way. It also tells the story of another character, but I'm not going to spoil that yet because we don't know that yet here. But yeah, it basically tells this story, but more like we are used to it being told. With more detail and all that. So yeah, I think that's very interesting. Also, I'm still very curious as to what that whole the House in Fata Morgana, the story behind the story thing was. Like, we didn't get an explanation for that, because that part was in the original game, and it wasn't the story behind the story, it was just like a flashback. So I'm very confused as to what that was. Did we unlock something, or what was that? I need to look at the menus, I feel like, on my own time and see if I can figure it out, if we have something new there. But yeah. But yeah, so we have the keys, we are on our way to Giselle, and we do have quite a lot more of Morgana's story, because it is not over there. She has more trauma to tell us about, so we will have to deal with that next time, which will be the next The House of Fata Morgana stream will be on, let's see here, it will be on Sunday at 9 GMT, because we switched to summertime in Sweden, so it will be like that. And the next stream for the week will be on Thursday. I will play Bloodborne at 15 GMT as usual. So yeah, I hope I will see you guys then. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging with me, and I will see you next time. Bye!